I think by now everybody knows that my goal is to help people. Matter of fact, my goal is to help as many people as I possibly can with their self-development. Thing is, I got so caught up with that goal, I forgot something. I got so caught up trying to do everything right, put things across in the perfect way, trying to understand social media and YouTube and all these other things that I forgot to be authentic. I spent so much time trying to get everything right that I forgot to be myself. Truth is, I want to connect with people. It's the actual only way that you can really help people. You can really understand people, as if you can build a connection, if you can build trust, if you can build honesty and vulnerability. I've been trying to get to know you guys without you getting to know me, because getting to know me requires me being vulnerable. And although I've told people quite a lot about myself, the hard stuff, the real stuff, the raw stuff, the stuff that people seen 100 times over really feel, that's terrifying. Telling people your insecurities and your worries and your issues and your challenges, that's real, that's hard, that's raw. I've been telling you a lot of solutions that I've discovered through my own self-development, but what I haven't been sharing with you is the problems that I've encountered, the stuff that I'm embarrassed about, the stuff that I feel shame about, the stuff that I find hard to talk about. And one of those things is that, believe it or not, I actually suffer quite significantly with social anxiety. I find it really, 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 really hard. I really love people. I love being around people. I love listening to people. I love helping people. I love people. When it comes to my personal life, I find it really hard. I feel it really hard to trust people and to be around people and to let people in, because fundamentally the most important relationship, the most secure relationship that I ever should have had, the relationship with my father, the one person I should have been able to trust from a really young age, let me down in a catastrophic way. I assume that everybody thinks I'm a joke, or no one really takes me seriously, or blah, 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 blah. I know we all have these thoughts. What I've come to realise is that in order to get past social anxiety, you kind of have to do it. You kind of have to bite the bullet and go out and see those people and spend time with those people and try new things. The analogy I like to use with myself is it's like having a bad experience in water. You know, maybe you're drowning and you have that really awful experience, and it ruins your perception of being in the water for the rest of your life. You know, you're terrified of it because you've had this awful experience. But the solution to that, to minimize the chances of it happening again, would be to learn to swim. But guess what? The worst thing you can think of is getting in the water, but the only way you're going to learn to swim is by getting in the water. So I suppose what I've realized is you have to expose yourself just a little bit to those social anxiety situations. I know that after lockdown I met up with a friend, and I met up in a cafe, and I walked in the cafe, and just the noise of the cafe and all the people around me, it made me feel really, really anxious. I felt physically sick, and my heart was racing and my palms were sweaty, and I actually started to really wind myself up, started to feel like I was having a heart attack. It was really, 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 really hard. It's really real physical symptoms, not just mental stuff. I really have this severe mind chatter, all this stuff that goes on, you know, in my mind. I get so overwhelmed by what's happening in my own mind, all the what ifs and maybes, and that person's thinking this and that person's thinking that, and that person's only inviting you here because of this. All that stuff goes on in my head to the point where it's so overwhelming that it just feels easier not to do it. It's as simple as that. And then I sit at home with my comfort, and along we go. So the first thing I discovered is that I have to expose myself to these social situations, these things that make me anxious. Sometimes I'm able to do it, sometimes I'm not. I'm working on it, and hopefully my friends understand. Because that's the second thing as well. The second thing that I realised is that tell your friends, give them the opportunity to support you in this. Give them the opportunity to understand. Instead of constantly saying no all the time, they start to think that you don't care, that you think you've got better things to do, or their mind starts making sense of stuff that doesn't seem to make sense to them. So give them that opportunity to support you, give them that opportunity to understand, and give them that opportunity to encourage you, to say, listen, it'll be all right, I'll pick you up. Hey, how about we start here? Maybe we just meet up together half an hour before, and all that sort of stuff. Friends do that. People that love you do that. The other thing I realised as well is write down your thoughts and what happened. So when you come up against a social situation, maybe it's a wedding or something like that, and you're really anxious about it, write down all the things that you're feeling, and then write down what happened. Because let's face it, I know, like you must know, most of the time it's going to be okay. Most of the time you go to the wedding and you really enjoy it, and it was a really nice time. You take loads of photos and you put them on social media. That's usually the result. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't go very well. Sometimes you're like, yep, knew I didn't want to go to that. That happens. That happens. But really and honestly and truthfully, most of the time, that doesn't happen. Most of the time, you go and you have a good time. So write down those thoughts, write down what happened, because that will become your evidence for next time. When you're anxious and you're in that anxious space, you're not going to listen to reason. You're not going to be able to just go, it's okay. You can't do that. I couldn't. I know that for sure. The other thing that came to mind was stop saying maybe. Now that's my little game. That's my little trick. I say to people maybe, because maybe is not a commitment. Maybe gives you that out. Maybe says, oh, well, I did say maybe. Instead, say yes. Even if you don't want to. Matter of fact, especially if you don't want to. Or no. If I need to say no, if it's something that look, I don't like that. That's not going to be good for me, because the more bad experiences you rack up with stuff that you really know you don't like, the harder it is to do the stuff that you could like or do like. Because that's the thing about social anxiety. It doesn't mean you don't like doing those things. It means you find it hard to do those things. It's a real, genuine feeling inside you. It's overwhelming. It's like shaking a Coke bottle and taking the lid off. It's like boom. And then lastly, it's not about you. Most people are struggling with their own stuff. Most people are having that battle with themselves. Far too consumed with that than they are to be honestly thinking those things that you think that they're thinking about you. Most people are fighting their own battles. Most of the time, I've come to realize that a room full of people is a room full of separate individual anxieties. Sometimes it's a shared anxiety, but most people are worried about what they're wearing, what they're going to say, if they're going to get too drunk, if that person still has that disagreement with them, and all these different things. It's not about you. It's not about me. I say all this, and I'm being honest, I still struggle with this a lot. I do public speaking, I do podcasting, I do coaching calls, social media. You put me in a social situation, I'm an absolute wreck. I share all this with you because I don't want to. I don't want people to know this about me. It makes me feel vulnerable, makes me feel seen. It makes me worry about what people are going to think about me, whether people are going to think that I can't do my job very well because I haven't got it all sorted myself. But the truth is, we're all fighting a battle all the time. Self-development is ongoing, otherwise it'd be called self-completion. Self-development is you committing to develop yourself. I have my flaws, I have my weaknesses, I have my things that I'm working on all the time, and this is one of them. I wanted to share it with you so that you could get to know me a bit better. Thanks for listening.